Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection Show is on the air. We're in downtown Duluth City Hall, and we're at PACT-TV Studios, and it's Monday, November 10th. And I'm going to have a old friend of mine that's been around the hockey game for, I don't know, like my age, 100 years. My friend is Greg Rajanen. Welcome to the show, Greg, and thanks for coming on.
You bet. Happy to be with you.
Yeah. Hey, give us a little bio of your hockey life, starting at you grew up in Superior.
Yeah, I grew up in Superior and played youth hockey there and played high school hockey starting as a ninth grader and had a lot of outdoor rink time, and then when after high school I went to Madison for a year and played hockey and baseball, but wasn't good enough to play there, so I came back to UWS and played 3 years for them, and so enjoyed my time playing and then got into coaching from that, starting in Babbitt, Minnesota as an assistant. I'm actually started in Superior as an assistant, then to Babbitt as an assistant. Austin, Minnesota, 6 years as a head coach. You went to the University of Illinois Chicago for a year as a Division I assistant. And then decided that the travel was too much for a young family man. And 4 years head coach at Fridley, 6 years at Anoka, and then part-time scout with Calgary when I was done coaching, and then went on and finished my career with 10 years as a full-time scout with NHL Central Scouting.
Yeah, now you're finally retired, but boy, you're like me. You probably went to 1 million games in that time or been coaching at a lot of games.
Yes. A lot of cold rinks and warm rinks and travel and met great people along the way.
Yeah, isn't the hockey world, it's a small world when you're around it every day. So it's a very small world and a lot of good people.
No question, and you're one of them, Jerry.
Thank you. Hey, going back to Superior now. Was Westman Arena, is that where you played? Was it open then when you were playing high school?
The first year of Westman Arena was 1971 when I was a senior.
Okay.
So prior to that, we played at the old Muni rink, and the college team played there too, and it was only about 170 feet. It was a small rink, so if you weren't a physical player, it was tough to hide.
Yeah, but you never got tired. You only have to go 170 instead of 200.
Yeah, we just got tired of having to play on the big rink. So. But
a lot of people don't know, but back at your time, how many years did you play high school hockey? 3?
I played 4. I started as a freshman, and then my sophomore year was the first year of a Wisconsin state tournament, and we won it in 69, 70, and 71.
Right. I was still around when you guys were winning, and the reason you were winning is that you were playing a lot of the over-the-border teams.
There's no question about it. We had better competition than everyone else in Wisconsin playing Minnesota teams. It was a real benefit.
And there was a lot of good teams back then too.
No question.
I mean,
no question.
Made a lot of good players came out of Superior at that time. So, well, when you went, did you have your teacher's degree right away out of the UWS?
Yeah. I went, graduated there in 75, I guess, and then went to, got an assistant hockey job, head baseball job in Babbitt, Minnesota.
So you're a teacher and the baseball coach and assistant on the hockey.
That's correct. That's correct.
So how many years did you put into teaching?
Overall, 34 years, and enjoyed it immensely. And it was, it's the type of job that if you didn't need money, you'd still do it.
So when you're up in Babbitt, wasn't Buzzy Snyder up there?
Well, Buzzy, it was before my time there, and his brother
Okay.
Steve. They were obviously Hall of Fame players and so forth. But worked with Ron Castellano, a former Eveleth guy, and just a veteran Hall of Fame coach, and so learned a lot from him my first year.
Right, there's a lot of great coaches and a lot of great players up in the range at that time too. And plus Buzzy Snyder, people don't know, he was at 2 Olympics, 76, and the Miracle on Ice team in 80. So, and that was, plus he was in the movie in the Miracle on Ice.
Kid. He was a good
his
one.
kids,
Yeah.
and that, he was a kind of like consultant. So, so you got into pro scouting after high school coaching, but you were at the Wild game last night with Calgary, who you scouted for. So what are those two teams like this year? Are they just going to be average teams, you think? Or do you think one of the two or both of them have a chance to get to the playoffs again?
Well, I was really impressed with the Wild, especially their goaltending last night. He had a shutout and he made a number of nice saves. And the game should be called goaltending because it starts there. You have a good goaltender, you're always in the hunt for playoffs and in the Stanley Cup. So, but I think both of them are. I think Calgary's a little more in the rebuilding stage, but they played hard there and did well. And the Wild, they've got a number of high-end players, obviously, and again, goaltending is the important area, and they have two good goaltenders.
Right. Now, the Wild got all their money back from the Parisi and Suter contract, but they seem to lose it all by re-signing some of their players they want to keep.
Well, again, you want to keep those point producers, right? Those are the people in that game that in all sports on the offensive side are really important, and you need to pay them if you're going to be competitive.
But it's very hard to improve the team when you pay all these players that really nice money now. Like I say, I don't think my opinion, that the Wild's different that much from last year. They picked up a couple players. They got a young D that's going to be better and better, that came in. But maybe the goaltending has to be the place where how they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, no question, and it's early yet, and they're in the hunt, and you just, I'm sure from the coaching standpoint, you take it day by day and try to be better tomorrow than you were today, and you deal with the travel schedule. It's a long season, and keeping players injury free and keeping them fresh and so forth. It's a full-time job for the coaches and trainers and players themselves.
So, since you coached high school a lot for probably close to 20 years, you been in the pro game. Were you the amateur scout for Calgary, or were you for the pros?
I was just amateur,
okay.
part-time in Minnesota. And so it was a great training ground for me, learning from all the scouts up there, the high-end people, the Sutter brothers and Tommy Webster and Todd Button, just great people up there. And I learned a lot. You think you know a lot when you coach high school and so forth. You get in with the pro guys and you realize how little you do know. So
I figured I've seen over 12,000 games since I came back to Minnesota, and I'm still learning. The game changes so fast too now, just from 10 years ago, how different the game is played.
Yeah, no kidding.
So you've seen a lot of games. So did you travel a lot when you were at Calgary, when you did part-time, or you just stayed in the Twin Cities, mostly the Minnesota high school?
Yeah, Minnesota high school, and went up north in southern Minnesota. Mainly, I live in the Twin Cities, so that was an easy trip for me. But basically, passionate about the Minnesota player, and fought for him at the meetings, and we drafted a couple players from Minnesota my first year there, and so they didn't make it to the NHL. So I guess that's the first lesson you learn is just because you're drafted doesn't mean you're going to play at the highest level.
Right. I always laugh, though. Sometimes you guys work your butt off scouting these Minnesota kids especially, and all of a sudden the draft comes, and all of a sudden, wait, you're not drafting any of these kids.
Well,
it's a tough business.
Well, when you get into meeting, you're up against the major junior scouts up in Canada, and the Eastern scouts, they're all fighting for their players, and I fought hard for the Minnesota guys,
right.
and that you hope you're right, because in the end you have to be right more than you're wrong, otherwise you're not employed any longer.
Okay, you've seen every level of hockey from the pros to the high school. And probably juniors, you're out in the USHL a little bit, or what's your favorite level of hockey that you like to watch?
Well, I have to say that, that's a tough question because, I'm passionate about the Minnesota high school program, the development program they have here. And as you know, the playoffs and the state tournament are second to none at that level in the country, if not the world. USHL is great. They're looking to get Division I scholarships and hopefully get drafted by the NHL. But the bottom line is it's still the Stanley Cup NHL games are, when you get into the Stanley Cup series, it's when those pros really elevate their game, it's second to none. Right.
I always say, skip the regular season, just start the Stanley Cup, because that's the best hockey in the world when Stanley Cup starts. It's amazing,
no question.
Especially this last year. I mean, I was so tuned into that. It was great.
Yeah, no question.
So there's a lot of changes in hockey now, like in college and even high school. The NIL, the people are going here, going there. They spend 1 year, and boy, it's hard to coach a college team now, wouldn't you think?
Well, all the players, the good players have advisors now, and they have the best interest of the player in mind, and so they want them to be in a position to get a lot of ice time and develop, which means that you want to be on the top two lines if you can, and top 4D in order to get most of the ice time. And the college guys, they understand they might only have a NHL draft for 1 or 2 years because that helps their recruiting base, right? They have this player at the NHL level, this player at the NHL level, and it helps them recruit, because in the end, those high-end players, that's their ultimate goal, is to play at the highest level possible.
Right. So when you got into Central Scouting, how many years did you do that? You did that.
I was with them 10 years full time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's where we saw each other a lot. And you always, when the Elite League, you come down and measure, weigh everyone. So you got the NHL knows exactly what this kid's size is, and that's very important too.
Yeah, we had to measure to the quarter inch, and there was no rounding off to, I remember filling out forms when I was playing that I put myself at 5'10" and a half, and I must have been maybe 5'7" and a half, right? So
that's funny.
That's what it's important, and again, that's just a starting point, because when the teams bring in players to weigh and measure them, they have their own standards that they use, but it's nice to have an accurate. You can't grow in a day, so they want the accurate, up-to-date height and weight, so that's what we provide them.
It's kind of funny, too, that you go back at our time, the good players can jump right into college. A lot of them that they don't even have to go to juniors. They're that good, you know. And Minnesota hockey, high school hockey, and nowadays it's a big jump just to get to juniors.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I like the progression. You know, one thing about junior hockey is you learn to live away from home, which is important. And you're playing with and against the top players in the U.S. anyway at the junior level, which you get a good impression of how good you are and what you need to do to get better. And the pro guys love it when they can get to the USHL because they get a better feeling for, you know, what their level is, their passion for the game, their compete level, and their hockey IQ, and all things that they don't think you can teach. You can't teach size, you can't teach IQ, you can't teach passion because so that they know the good skaters and the good puck play guys, but the areas that you can't teach, that's really important for them to know that they have those attributes.
Yeah, I was out in Pittsburgh for the Fall Classic for the USHL and then the development teams there and that, and it's just fun to see. But I'm amazed how many Minnesota kids now are going. I hope most of them are before and after. There's always a situation they should stay if they're playing in the first two lines and power play or whatever, you know. But I'm just amazed how many kids are not playing in the elite league now and going to the junior leagues.
Yeah, and you know, again, if they're not able to play a regular shift at the USHL level, most of the time the teams will move them back to high school and let them. They need ice time, right? You need to be able to play. You don't want to go up to that level and play every other game. So that's it. That's for the advisors and the coaches to figure out, but. The bottom line is if you have fun playing the game, you're going to spend time at it, then you're going to get good at it. And you want to play against the top players at your age. Every athlete wants that.
Right. And I just noticed, I mean, we grew up north here and that, but hockey's not the same where none of these programs year in and year out are going to be great. Maybe Hermantown in Class A, but all the other teams, they're going to have like every 3 years, every 5 years, maybe one good competitive team. It's hard to compete with like the Lake Conference teams down in the cities and that. And it's even harder now to schedule them because their schedule's so loaded already. It's hard to get in. And if you don't play a hard schedule, I think it's really hurting you in your development.
Yeah, no question. And you know, it's juniors and moving on to the development program is not for everyone. So I'm sure they do their homework on what's best for you as a person and academically and for your hockey life. You know, if it's not for everyone. So that's why we live in America where we can make those choices. And if your son goes to a junior program, that means someone at the high school program gets an opportunity to play a regular shift. So there are winners in that that situation.
Right. There's pros and cons, I guess, to everything in this game.
Yeah.
But another thing I noticed, like you were talking a little while ago, these kids that come out of high school, number one, I think they got to be smart. I mean, they got to make a play, know how to see the ice better. They got to get stronger. And that's the number one thing that they have to work on. They just can't move up to the next level and not get better at that.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, the third, fourth liners are really a dime a dozen for the draft NHL teams. So they're looking for the total package on players, and they know they have to improve with their strengths and so forth and their puck skills. But like I said earlier, that it's hard to teach if you don't have that hockey IQ, those instincts. very difficult to move up levels. And the same thing with passion. If you're not a hard worker in all of our jobs, how do you get better?
Right.
So they watch that very, very closely, and that is a big factor on how high they draft or don't draft a young player.
Right. And another thing I've seen, the attitude of some of these kids, though, if they don't pick it up, I mean, they show it, and they got to be, just top-notch attitude, too, their character.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably in every job, right? I mean, you don't get better by being selfish. You need to be a team player in all walks of life. You have to get along with people, and you have to make good decisions, right? And it feeds right onto the ice rink or the basketball court or the football field, what have you.
Right. Okay, going back to hockey, college. Let's go back to college. The Canadian Hockey League. Now these players can come to college in the U.S. What do you think of that?
Well, again, the opportunity for those players to make those choices, it's not for everyone. And it makes the college program better, right, from a standpoint of getting the best players in North America. They're looking to do that with American kids, and there are a lot of really good players. You're up in Duluth. I can remember growing up with all the good players they had from Major Junior that came down, and I think it allows the players that want to go to that level and they're playing USHL to get bigger, faster, stronger, so they can play against the Major Junior kids.
Do you think it's going to hurt high school, Minnesota high school, and maybe the North American Hockey League?
Yeah, I don't think it will hurt them. I think actually they'll have some players that maybe were at the college level that needed another year or two of USHL, right? They're now going to be able to stay back there, get a little bit bigger, faster, stronger, improve their game, so that when they go to the college level, they make more of an impact.
Yeah, another thing I notice in high school hockey now, especially in the Twin Cities, because the North can't really do it because there's not enough players with money, or I don't know what it is, but there's thousands and thousands of kids that are in these hockey all year round programs that are paying Top Gun money, $10,000 plus, How does Northern teams compete with that?
Well, it's a tough one, right? That you want to be able to, as a younger player, you want to make sure you have fun playing, because when you have fun playing, then you spend time at it. You get out on the outdoor rinks, you compete against players, and the bottom line is there's opportunities for everyone, and but it starts with having fun. I'm a full important part of my life was playing 3 sports, and I think all the way up in youth hockey or youth football or whatever, playing other sports help you become a better athlete, and become a better athlete, and helps you with your instincts and playing different sports. And I think at a young age especially, I think you're making a mistake by just zeroing in on one sport.
You said 2 things I really like. Have fun. If you're not having fun, it's going to be hard for you to ever get better. And number 2 is I like the 3 sports things that we grew up with. You use different things, that make you a better athlete, I think. Yeah, especially at a younger age, in squirts and peewees and bantams. You get up into the high school level, you're looking at college scholarships, or hopefully the opportunity to be drafted and so forth, and you have to do a little more specialization. But at a young age, have fun, get to the outdoor rinks, hit all the ruts that improves your balance, and you
stick handling is better when you're playing shinny games, and you have to shovel the snow off the ice like we did as a youngster. That was our strength program.
Okay. That's funny. So in pro hockey as a scout, what's the number one thing you look at a kid when they're young? You start watching them in sophomore, junior years and that, besides skating.
Well, yeah, and you said it right off the bat. Number one is if you can't skate, you can't play.
Right.
So you got to spend time at that, and the puck play is important. Obviously, stick handling, shooting, and so forth. Using your size is really important. But like I said earlier, the two areas that eliminate you from college scholarships and being drafted are if you don't have good instincts and vision. Hockey IQ, many people call it. And the other one is if you're not a hard worker, if you don't play hard, you don't have passion, how do you get better? And they're not just drafting you out of high school to come and play for the Wild in the first year, right? They want you in a development program that you play a big part in as a player. You have to give and take and listen to coaches and come in with skills that you've learned over the years as far as being a team player and like I said, hockey IQ and passion for the game, because then you spend time at it if you have passion. Right.
So, Central Scouting, what is to the fans out there that see this show? What is Central Scouting? Is it just National Hockey League money that they want to see a scouting reporter on any good kid?
Well, the bottom line is that the team scouts are out there, and our job at Central Scouting was to provide a list, 32 players in a round, 7 rounds, and rank them by round. And so our job was to make sure that the teams knew who we thought had a chance to play. And then, like you said earlier, the heights and weights are important, and the strength training is important, and so forth. But if they want to be noticed, play the game the right way, listen to your coaches, share the puck, play hard, spend time at it, then you get good at it.
All right.
And then you'll get noticed.
All right, we got about 30, 40 seconds, Raj. Last question. If you can change one thing in hockey, high school, whatever, what would you like to change?
I would like to change the fact that we have squirts and peewees and Bantams traveling all over North America spending money. I'd rather see them spend money on ice time and also playing 2 to 3 sports. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because you're not going to play hockey the rest of your life. And allow the kids to play and not travel. Use their time playing on the outdoor rinks and not traveling all over North America trying to be a better player.
Well, hey, thanks a lot for coming on the show and all the advice and information about your career. Hey, great player, great coach, great scout, and a great friend. Thank you,
Thanks.
Greg Rajanen.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
That's the Minnesota Hockey Connection show today, and I want to thank the producers, Jim, Sean, Liz, and we'll see you at the rink.